Over.
Howdy do.
Hey, y'all. Hey.
I started to wear my Betty Squad shirt too.
We have to get one for Becca.
I'm contemplating going to change right now.
So I could not get a Wi-Fi signal last Sunday. That's why I wasn't here. But it's good to be home. Kitty's missed me.
I bet.
Like my energy, and Johnny will tell you, my energy was so amped. Edie and I were laughing. I said, Spirit's keeping me off there because I can't shut my mouth. I'm so chatty. My energy is all over the place. Hi from the seminars. And I was like, I think Spirit kept me off so I wouldn't talk over y'all all night.
And everywhere you went, technology was kind of misbehaving. So
yeah. my phone is starting to get back to normal in Portland because my energy was so amped up. I was draining the battery on my phone. Like in 5 minutes, it would drain. We had a blast.
We did.
It was so much meeting people face to face. People I've read for and people that we see in our chat. Just a blast, and it was so much fun watching them realize I can do this.
Mm-hmm. That was the thing. The little key unlocks, and you realize how special or magical you are. Like this, I tell people too about your talents and your abilities. It's not a magical thing. It's something that's implanted in you. You just sometimes have to learn how to use it. Is all.
Yeah, how to channel it,
Mm-hmm.
how to get focus. And oh my gosh, Miss Robin gave me a hand-painted cat that looks like Roro, I think. And bracelets and angels. I love this beaded bracelet. I believe Kimberly gave it to me. It's got a little silver chain on with it. It's nice. A little heart. And then Kevin and John made me this special for my Christmas tree. I haven't put it on. I was going to put it on in the live stream, but because dragonflies are in my logo, this beautiful dragonfly Christmas tree ornament, hand painted. They made it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets prime real estate. Let's put it right here, so I can see it every time I look at my tree.
Hi guys.
Hey Lena.
Hello. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's late. Yep.
I was super late actually because I got here 5 minutes ago. So.
Cool.
I have to ask Lori what this stone is, unless y'all know. It's very luminescent. Is that angel light?
Oh, how cute is that?
I think it's angel light, and it's an angel carving. So
wow,
beautiful.
The problem is on these screens, anything shiny just goes ding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of opaque, kind of translucent, like you can see into it.
I see now. When you hold it down a bit, it's easier to see.
It's not selenite, is it?
Yeah.
It might be selenite. Yeah, it might be selenite.
I like that idea.
But beautiful little angels. I have her sitting right here.
My brother-in-law, one of them, I've got a lot of brother-in-laws, one of them is a geologist, and it's been really useful over the years, like when what is this? He'll go, it's, Carlinite, 200,000, this and that.
I'm going to go live with Lori on Thursday for July 4th on her channel, live at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central Time on the Way of Positive Change. She's a crystal expert, so I'll ask her what it is too.
Oh, cool. So one person's saying it's selenite. Is opalite another name for selenite?
No, they're different.
They're different. Okay.
I'm not sure. Like in person, it looks more like selenite or angel light or.
I have angel light's my stone. It's that light blue one.
Yeah, it's got the graininess that has. but it's not blue, it's white.
Okay,
ring
it's
and tell.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
As long as it's pretty, who cares?
And I love it. Angels. I love angels. So
So any announcements, Jim?
Live Thursday with Lori. Seminar the last weekend of September and the first weekend of October is available to sign up for on my website, jenlyntarot.com. The ending date for registering for the fall event is in August. So if you want to come to the September, October, one of those healing events, please do sign up. Do not sign up because you want a healing session with me. This is not for a healing session for you. This is to learn how to do healing energy work and working with the astral body and actually feeling the astral body turning and moving. I have some great pictures from the last seminar I'm going to be putting on my website of people's faces just smiling when they feel it moving. They're like, "Ooh!"
It's magic.
It's magic. It's amazing. It was so much fun. Very upbeat. I can't wait to do it again. I just can't wait. We had a great group both weekends. The right people, that were there, guided there, and it was just so much fun to watch them learning. I have appointments available for readings in November. I'm booked out through November now. There might be 1 or 2 left in October, but booking into November for readings. jenlyntarot.com, and you can book a reading if you would like a reading / healing session. So it can be all reading or it can be healing and reading.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm not reading again after the big trip. So if people want a reading, I've now opened up August. So if you want a general reading or a past life reading, email me.
And didn't you do your past life reading? Wasn't that on YouTube, Jim?
Yeah, with Lena, she did. I think it's been 2 years now, Lena.
It had to be a couple of years.
Yeah, we did it on Skype and uploaded the video, and she did several past lives of mine that came up in the reading.
And it was fun. I love doing them.
Yeah, it was either June or July, like 2 years ago, I want to say. If you scroll down through my videos, you can find it if you want to see what it's like to get a past life reading from Lena.
So my announcement is a rant.
Lucky Girl's posting a link to it. Thank you, Lucky Girl.
Thanks.
That I feel I have to go on here. First of all, second of all, maybe a third too, if I remember to get there. So the debate happened, and the Democrats had a meltdown. And
some did, not all.
I understand that. I get it. Okay, fine. But here's the thing that's going to happen over here. Okay. Because we bash right-wing media for lies and hypocrisy and talking points and propaganda. And Democrats in their left-leaning media, some of them seem to have this sensationalism of when any little thing happens, it becomes a big worldwide issue. And it's something that they never let go of for the whole news cycle, and then it's over in 10 days and they act like it didn't exist because they want the likes and the clicks and the views. And you have to remember also that talking heads on TV are opinions and not news, because they have the such and such expert come in from over here and the such and such expert come in from over here, and they all say the same things. And then the next show has the exact same program that the last show just had. And then people watch it and watch it and watch it. What's going to happen over here, those we're not going to read on, is Biden going to be replaced? If he is, fine, I don't care. If he's not, fine, I don't care. Because if you didn't like him because he was old, you should have learned mathematics 4 years ago because you knew how old he was going to be today. And so if he had a bad showing at the debate, okay, remember Obama had one against Mitt Romney and nobody called for him to be replaced. So if you want Joe Biden to be replaced, again, you should have done that 4 years ago when he ran for president. And you cannot do it now, and we're not going to do it now. And so over here, we're not going to read on such a thing. This will be an old story next month.
Yeah.
And if it's such a big deal, then it should be a big deal next month, and it won't be. And again, this is something about left-wing media that I cannot stand. They will cycle the same thing over and over again. And why right now they feel the need to eat and attack their own is beyond me. If you even tried to replace Joe Biden right about now, you would cause such a havoc that you would almost guarantee a Trump presidency. And if that is what you were aiming for, then just say that. That way we know where you are, where you stand, and whose team you are on. But again, over here, we're not about to do that. So thank you.
Yeah, it's what's interesting. Eric Swalwell, he's totally behind Biden. Hey, Becca, totally behind Biden. A lot of them are rallying behind him. He had a cold. He was a little under, energy, but Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush Sr., and Reagan all had a horrible first debate, and still went on to win the presidency. So don't panic. And they also have Kamala right behind him. If he decides he doesn't want to work a full term, she can take it over.
Here's another thing, because I don't really care, honestly, if you don't like his debate performance. Here's another thing. Who is it right now that you trust between Joe Biden and Donald Trump? That's your choice.
Any Democrat.
Fine. Yes, he's old. Yes, he's been old for a very long time, but you knew that already. And another thing is he's going to continue to be old going forward. And so either get behind him or don't get behind him, but don't stop being behind him all of a sudden because of a debate performance. This is the person that you're putting the highest position in the land in his lap and the most powerful position in the world in his lap. He's got other things to think about and do other than debate Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't got nothing to do but go to court and then go to his debate, which he was prepped for. Okay, fine. It's enough of all of that.
And remember the State of the Union. Biden was on fire for the State of the Union. We know he can do it. It was just this regurgitation, no fact checking in real time. Shame on CNN. Just the lies and the lies and the lies. Lucky Girl said in the chat, the past life reading Lena did on me was July 14th of 2020. It's been 4 years.
Oh my God, you've probably had a few more since then.
We've aged well.
Wow.
So
fly?
We do have a couple of questions that circle around that topic, but I'm not asking, is he going to be replaced? If they replace him, fine. Go for it. If they don't, fine, go for it. If he goes into the presidency all of 3 days and drops dead, and then you got fine, whatever. But I'm not going into all that. I'm pretty sure somebody else has. Go watch that meeting. It's probably just.
Can I please say hi, everybody?
And if you did not see Friday night, Becca did a new grand tableau on Trump that is a do not miss. So go watch that if you haven't seen it. That'll make you breathe easier. Trump has Biden raised more money after the debate. He's up in the polls. People are not going to vote for Trump. They don't like him.
And the thing is, he's reached his ceiling. I'm thinking of the grand tableau, the garden, the storks, and the cross. He cannot gain more. He's incapable of gaining more.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Win with less than a third of the country? The math isn't mathing. It doesn't make sense. But
and I think there's been 2 waves of reaction. There was the immediate reaction was, oh God, and I was part of it. That's why I didn't go on a video. I couldn't trust myself to speak or to look, far out. And then by the next day, it had all sort of turned around, and people were gathering around him, and here we are, and whatever.
It'll pass. This will be an old story next month. It'll be a completely old story. We won't even talk about it anymore. And
let's see. We have coming up this month sentencing on Trump. We got the Republican convention, which is going to be a total shit show. So there's other things.
means you need to be more involved in, let's say, for instance, because it's a legitimate thing. Let's say, for instance, you don't really care for Biden and you think he is too old and all. Okay, fine. That means you need to be more involved in your politics and maybe local politics too, because right now what we have is a senior citizen and a felon running for president right now. And you only trust one of them to actually be the president right now. And so if we want things to look different, then be more involved or just vote for what they give you.
So the choices are between someone that's geriatric and a psychopathic convicted felon.
Yes, and they're both around the corner from 100. So I mean, this is the lay of the land here. AOC is too young right now.
They're saying in chat, Bannon goes to jail tomorrow. You know, we got to get the Dems in so we can clean up the Supreme Court. Some of the crap they did last week is unbelievable. So
it's like they're racing against the clock now. It's like they think he's not going to get in, you know, their guys. So they're just throwing this stuff at the castle walls.
Yeah.
I just saw that Jamal Bowman lost. Do you know if he won, if it was a Dem that won the seat or that's what I saw was Jamal Bowman lost his seat. Do you have no idea? Okay.
Can someone let us know?
I don't know who that is. names when it comes to all this. I have no idea.
You know, I know way too many judges' names now. Thank you, Trump, and 34 convictions. Whoever heard of Erdogan and Merchan and Cannon and
Tanya Chutkan and suddenly, you know, we're legal authorities. Yeah.
I do have a
Democrat won a seat. They're saying.
Yeah, they're saying APAC because I caught a tiny bit of it on the Sam Cedar show, and they were saying that APAC was backing Bowman's opponent big time, like millions and millions and millions of dollars to get.
So Bowman. The opponent then won, yeah.
Bowman's the black dude, isn't it? Okay, yeah, I remember him now. So my first question, we shall go to the Supreme Court, actually, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because Democrat Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Jamie Raskin are introducing a new piece of legislation aimed at putting a cap on the number and value of gifts the U.S. Supreme Court justices can receive. The High Court Ban Act is what they're calling it. It was unveiled Tuesday, but this was, I screenshotted this a long time ago, so whenever Tuesday was, would prohibit justices from receiving gifts valued at more than $50. Which, I mean, what do you need to give them other than keychains or something that's going to go over $50?
Yeah, like anyway. What about none?
Thank you.
Fred, you're going to have to fill up your own gas tank on that RV.
No, you have to buy your own loafers, you know.
$50 at the time and no more than $100 per year. The bill would also put an $18,000 cap on gifts of personal hospitality, which are currently unregulated. So Jamie Raskin and AOC have put this bill forward. Is there any chance whatsoever? I understand the way our House is right now.
Yeah,
so
sure.
If you want to look a little ahead, fine. But right now, what is the chances? What are the chances?
Yeah. Look, I got my Jen Lynn Tarot.
Dang it. Why? See, I was going to use mine too. I was going to wear my shirt and have my cup. You're going to make me pause this whole stream just to go do it.
I got my, from Johnny's shop, I got my Jen Lynn Tarot long sleeve tee, which I'll be wearing in the fall.
Cool.
To the seminar in the fall.
Cool.
Okay, so wait, what's the question?
AOC and
the bill passing. It is called the High Court Gift Ban Act.
The Gift Ban Act. Good.
Well, we got all those Republicans that want to keep corruption in. So let's see.
Ban. Well, it's these sweetheart deals, like so frustrating. Will I go, Johnny?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2 of these. Look at this. I mean, the wedding card and the lover's card. It's like they're so used to it. And I don't think it's just High Court judges. It's a thing. Here's the Page of Pentacles. The richer you are, the more gifts you get, and the less money you have to spend on anything. That's just how it is. So, like, if you look at the red carpet events and stuff, they get lent this $1 million jewelry to wear on the night, and then you can keep it and do. I think it's not just the High Court. I mean, I think it's a great place to start this bill, but it's only the thin end of the wedge with all this, with other politicians, because everyone's being bought and sold in the hall. Like, this is them raising the sword and putting the word out. No, not this time, but you've got to start somewhere, and just put it out there. I think they'll go back then and redraft the bill in the new incarnation.
I agree, Lena. I'm getting it's not finished yet. They're too burdened, and they're stuck with all these men giving all this money to the Trump judges. So, the details are going to be there. They will have success with it eventually, but I think it's after the election. It's going to lose for right now, and then they're going to have to wait. It'll pass quickly in the future after the election, after we've got the White House again, and the Senate and the House.
After the election, there's the election, the arrival, and something new. So
that's a really good sign, though, because if we're getting not now, but try again later, that means something again later will change.
True.
So,
and that's totally Citizens United, right?
I just saw something too that the Supreme Court just did a case this last week, and they overturned it, where elected officials are allowed to get bribed now.
Yeah. Legalized bribery.
I guess that's how Clarence Thomas and Alito got out of the hole they were in. Oh, we're just going to make it legal
We'll
for us
just
to
spread
make
the
bribes.
graft.
But dismantled all our federal agencies, so like every time we want a new drug on the market to help with something, you got to pass a law saying it's legal, that drug is legal.
You have to pass a specific law, is what they kept saying, because the Chevron is lacking specificity, is what it said. And so you leave it to your agencies to then specify, this is what we interpret the law to be. And so now agencies have kind of been stripped of that power. We'll go there next, though. Nine of Swords is how it starts. So there's some worry, some stress. The bad news is the Wheel of Fortune, which is kind of good news, because the Wheel of Fortune is time, the calendar, fate, destiny, that type of thing. And so right now is not a good time. The good news is the Death card. So change, wait for the change to happen. The Five of Pentacles, when it comes to timing, is Five of Pentacles. So something needs to be separated, thrown out, pushed out first. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is work, and which means also diligence. So keep on this, which I think they will. And then you have the Empress is how it ends. So this just takes a gestation period, 9 months possibly. Wait, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay. So will the ruling on the Chevron is the nickname? Will the ruling on that be overturned is the question that we were getting here. And that's where you strip the government agencies of their ability to interpret a law if it has not been specified by federal law.
And to set regulations.
And
which is
regulate.
why, like, every time a new drug comes on the market, there'll have to be a law created saying, okay, that drug's okay.
And what it's about, of course, is taking away expertise in science or law or anything and making it just, well, I like it, I don't like it. It's imbecilic, and it's taking the country back yet again to a place that isn't first world. I'm sorry, grown-up countries do not. This is one of the measures of a failing country, is that there's no controls on this stuff.
Pollute us all, poison us all, they'll be okay with that.
Yeah,
it's Project 2025 trying to dismantle the government.
Yeah, and I produce this poisonous chemical fertilizer and I want you all to buy it, so that'll be okay. You know, it's so dangerous, this new law. It's scary stuff. Yeah. Oh, God. Sorry, what's the actual question on it? Will this law be rolled back?
Yes, or the Supreme Court's decision. Will it be somehow overturned? Or will they restore the Chevron Act, if you will?
Well,
I get a yes. I get change right on the bottom. It'll get change. Victory on that. But this isn't done. So people are looking into it. They're going to regret doing this. There'll be a new start on this. America is passing judgment on it, knowing that it's going to cause a whole bunch of problems and it's a manipulation. And after the transition, so again, after the election, bad news for Republicans, bad news, and the greedy people. I think it'll be overturned. So, which means something's going to happen on the Supreme Court to have enough people to overturn it. Reading between the lines.
Yeah. What about you, Becca?
I get them now. They're already talking and meeting about what else they're going to take away. Because it ends with nice, which takes away something. It erodes something away. So,
yeah, I think this is the problem. I think they're racing to the finish line now in November. We're going to see probably weekly these laws. Some of them in the Supreme Court, I think there's a chasm opening here. I don't know if you can see this image. It's someone saying, I told you not to do this or something. But this is behind the scenes. Because how would you feel as a liberal justice? You know, you've worked all your life for the high ideals of American democracy and you're surrounded by these fascist clowns. It'd be a nightmare. We don't care. This is why we're here, to stand on your head and crush your skull. Right? Nice people. Then, Queen of Cups, don't talk to me about this. I'm busy, right? I have to make sure I leave a good impression in the outside world and just make sure emotionally that people, don't want to come and hang us all in the night like the other mob, But to get the point, I think down the track, tarot, no timing, the sun, I think what they're going to do now in the next month or so is a bridge too far. You can only pray. It's like, do your worst, because it has to bring more middle Americans to the other side of the fence. It's like now the Supreme Court are MAGAs with law degrees.
and it's funny that you say that, because I've seen a couple of legal scholars that have been saying, I guess there was a ruling also where they completely purposefully misinterpreted the law to let all these January 6th rioters off the hook.
Yeah, it's another terrible development.
It's like, I was watching Lawrence Tribe, and then that other conservative judge that speaks very slowly. I forget his name. I think it's Judge Ludig. I think it is. He's like,
Is Harry Lippman?
No, I think it was Judge Ludig.
Okay.
And he was saying, I don't even know what they're reading. It's like they're just pulling stuff out of thin air, you know?
Yes.
So, oh.
I get the Page of Swords first. So there is a no, and the Hermit, which is a no. But I end once again with the Empress, which is a not right now.
Yeah.
Because there is something that needs a growing period. Because in the good news portion of the reading, there's the Magician and the Ace of Wands. Somebody exercises some sort of power. This feels, though, with the Empress being the expander, a bigger thing. So this could be you all, as in the populace, and not necessarily the judges themselves, because I got no judge cards here. But there is someone exercising power in new actions that follow, and then the Empress follows that. So it could take some time, but Democrats love regulations. And so this is not something they're just going to let go, I think. So keep that in mind, too, that endure the storm, okay? Remember where we were 7 years ago and see where we are now. Like, everything did not come out squeaky clean, but the world didn't technically end either. So breathe. Breathe first, react second. Put some oxygen in the brain. Let go of the knee-jerk reaction. It's time to breathe. Breathe.
I'm just waiting for some sort of, I understand why Biden didn't expand the court in his first term, because that would have been bad for re-election. I understand that, but if he doesn't, went to negotiations, that would be an opportunity lost, because what this Supreme Court is doing is they are dismantling laws and in effect creating new laws, which is not their damn job. Do you see what I'm saying?
And they're not democratic laws as are recognized internationally.
Yeah.
This is caliphate stuff.
Yeah. So
this is Taliban 101.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to another Supreme Court, which is, I don't want to call them the Taliban, but they have a very limited view that they wish to push upon everyone else. The great state of Oklahoma, where the idiocy comes sweeping down the plains. That song, you remember that part? Okay, so the Supreme Court in Oklahoma. So there are two questions I have, different but sort of the same. The first one, the state superintendent there in Oklahoma said that under Oklahoma law, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Because he wants everyone in Oklahoma to teach the Bible as a historic document, and that is going to be immediately implemented. Adherence to this mandate is compulsory, he said. He said further instruction for monitoring and reporting on this implementation for the 2024-2025 school year will be forthcoming. Immediate and strict compliance is expected. Because he wants you to teach. He says it's crystal clear to us that in Oklahoma academic standards under the Title 70, on multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country.
I'm sorry, what? Moses was white American before or after the Native American?
Moses came from Spokane.
The name of the deck Lee is using is called the Deviant Move. The Title 70, under multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach the children about the history of this country to have a complete understanding of Western civilization. To have an understanding on the basis of our legal system, because our legal system is built upon do not kill, do not steal, the 10 Commandments type of thing, is what he's saying.
I have
So,
a question to be just a petty person, but are we talking like when they put the dinosaurs on the ark? Because, you know, like if you can't, you know,
but in this country,
in a round hole, you might as well square the circle. So, like,
it's like, what was it Trump said about like fighter jets in the Revolutionary War or something crazy like that? Yeah, it's that kind of mentality. It's like let's just change history to be revisionist for white nationalism.
But here's my problem, though. Okay. If you're going to teach, because mind you, when I was in the 11th grade, I believe, in ancient history, they taught us about Jesus. He was in my ancient history book as a person who existed. Now, they weren't drawing the direct correlation, as in the Son of God and all of that, but what if I don't believe in such a thing? You're still going to teach me this person exists?
What if you're not
going to study
now,
Buddha?
now you're going to use the
Now, mind you, there are people who account for the existence of Jesus, at least, or that Jesus that's depicted in the Bible. I mean, Jesus is a common name, mind you. But my problem is, where in this country is our history so lovely that you need to incorporate the Bible, which also has a bunch of garbage in it too, and then teach that to kids instead of what actually happened? What are you changing is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because when Moses, you know, wrote the 10 Commandments on Mount Rushmore, he said it's totally cool to kill black folks as that are your slaves. You know?
When Moses and his people were enslaved, you know, let my people go, right? Are they going to revise that to, oh, they enjoyed it though?
Yeah.
But this is the problem, isn't it? And I think there needs to be pushback in two ways, because everyone's brain works differently and people get riled up by different things. But one of the things, and I think there was a guy in Texas, he was a parent, school, and he waited 1.5 years to get his turn at the school meeting. And he started reading extracts from the Bible that were truly horrifying, grisly, violent awfulness. And people going, stop, stop. And he's going, no, this is what you want my 6-year-old to read. So I think one sort of response needs to be dissecting the Bible deliberately and putting those things front when you're banning other books. And the other thing, what America was founded on was the separation of church and state. And whatever those two lines are need to be put on billboards in every red state, right? Because
why these people can't raise their own kids the way they want and leave everybody else's alone.
Exactly. And the point was, and many of the founding fathers, I hate that phrase anyway, were quite atheist for the time. They were really quite out there.
That's why this is a secular nation. This whole right-wing talk of, it says God and Christ in our Constitution. Where? Because I've read it. Nowhere in there does it say God or Jesus Christ. It doesn't say it.
Seriously, these people have never looked at it, right? They've never looked at it. They've just heard it through their jaundiced, you know, podcasts. And it's time for bring back the real thing. Freedom of religion and freedom from religion, folks.
So if it's any consolation or a silver lining, at least you got to take some heart that these red states are so down the barrel with education that the kids might not be able to read in order to read what's in the Bible.
But they can learn by rote, and it's worked so far. And that's the problem. Look at the education levels in the red state, health levels in the red states, all of it. It's a job lot. An ignorant population is a docile population. They'll jump up and down about things, but they can be led.
Let's make sure we cover with kids under 10 years old the the elementary school kids. Let's make sure we talk about Abraham cheated on his wife with another woman to have a child.
And it's going to be implemented in grades 5 through 12. And fine, go ahead. I want you to start, though, with the fact that Jesus is my color and not the color of Donald Trump or anybody.
No, Johnny.
Start there and then see if you want to teach more.
Jesus was from Arkansas. Moses was from Oklahoma, not somewhere over there.
Which means then you were Native American and you still weren't white.
Exactly.
I thought
Carol
Moses was from Louisiana. Moses Mike.
I don't like that. Carol says there's no King James version of the Constitution.
No, there's no King James version of the Bible. It was a bunch of stories stuck together. That's all. Those people didn't even know each other.
Yeah.
It's like Aesop's fables. It's just a bunch of stories stuck together. If you find inspiration in it, find your inspiration in it. If you don't find inspiration in it, put it down.
And people learn through stories. So for populations that couldn't read, you give them parables to try and, create a moral world.
Patrick says, Johnny, you mean Jesus wasn't blonde-haired, blue-eyed, drives an F-150, smokes Marlboro Reds, and shops at Walmart?
Dark eyes, dark skin, woolly hair. Well, they said skin of burnt brass. So if you Google burnt brass, that's the color of Jesus' skin. Mm-hmm. It's in the Bible. I didn't make it up. Now, he wasn't my complexion. He was lighter than me, but he was not white.
He was Jewish.
He had woolly hair. So unless he was Irish, then most white people don't have woolly hair.
No, he was Jewish.
Yeah.
This much we do know.
Anyway, the question is, will there be pushback, and will this be, because mind you, he is able to do this because it is worked into their Title 70 something. So it's a part of the law he's able to exploit there in Oklahoma. But what kind of pushback will we get, and will this be overturned?
Oh, that reminds me. My YouTube channel got hacked a few weeks ago, and all these crazy devil comments and stuff that looked like it was me, and everybody knew I was hacked. Now some people are getting emails that look like they're from me with all this like crazy crap in it. I don't know what's going on with that, because it apparently is not related to YouTube. But just if anyone gets crazy religious emails, it's not me. Okay. I would not email you that. It's got to somehow be connected to YouTube, because it's sending it out to subscribers.
Now, mind you, just for FYI, public service announcement, we don't reach out to you, period. So I'm not going to email you and say anything. It's just, I have nothing to sell you. I have nothing to ask you. I'm not reaching out. We don't reach out to people and solicit nothing or none of that. So if you get anything that even looks remotely like that, put it in the spam, report it, or something like that. Yeah. Just to keep you safe. Don't ever expect us to try to solicit nothing from it.
Johnny, can you please remind me, is Oklahoma another one of those states that decided to do away with feeding poor kids in school?
Right now, I think they still have school lunch, but I don't know that for sure.
I think it was on the chopping block, because that one part in the Bible it says feed the poor. Yeah, well, we're gonna wipe that out.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be another campaign, the good things in the Bible, to blow them up, just as politicians.
All you really need is right now is just cut and paste and edit. That's all you really need, right? Because all of the stuff in the Bible is not relevant to our current life. And all of the stuff in the Bible makes no sense. And so take that part out and leave the inspiring part. Chop it down.
You know what happened, though? Louisiana did something similar. And as soon as they put that news out, the ACLU filed a lawsuit in Louisiana against the state, because they were forcing religious studies in public schools or something like that. And the ACLU did not waste a minute before they filed a lawsuit.
Well, good on the ACLU, because there is no AG, it would appear, in America now functioning. I'm sorry, just no. And so this pushing everything back to the states, but not even a statement from the higher echelons of any party going, you know, this is taking the country backwards. No.
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with them?
Yes, they still have school lunches for the record.
This is going to go to court, and then it's going to go to a higher court. So like a state Supreme Court, it's going to get blocked. It's going to end, but it's going to take a little while. So, pushing this on the schools and trying to constrict education, it's not going to go well. It's going to throw everything out of whack, but it will change. There's too many people that are going to fight this. So, I would also watch elections in Oklahoma. I think it'll be interesting because I think elections, there may be a lot of changes there.
Yeah, well,
like at a state level.
And the world's turned. I think this is the people who are pushing this, you know, and they're ecstatic at the moment. They see this as a win, but they don't realize they're about to be swallowed by the shark that has teeth. I think it'll be a brand new day for them when they realize, oh, not everyone thinks this way. Then there's the moon. There'll be this darkness around it. I think with the Empress here expanding things, it'll reinforce that thing. We have to have more church schools, which are then tax-free, which then propagate all this crap with young minds, allied to the real devil. Because to me, depriving children of education that's what is evil. You know. So I agree with Jen in the sense they think it's happy days now, but they're not going to get away with it.
I get lawsuits and fighting, and it's not just going to in the state because there's the fighting here. That's something that is going to. It's not a campaign. It's almost like it's a fight that's going to get some attention in the media, if that makes sense. But it's going to be at state levels. So we saw it in Louisiana first. Now we're seeing it in Oklahoma. You know, I don't care what state you're in. I get that the Republicans really like but states' rights. Well, last I checked, federal law and the Constitution is kind of higher up there than your measly state rights. And if the Constitution says a separation of church and state, you don't get a special exemption because you're special Oklahoma or you're special Louisiana. You don't. It's still federal law, period. You know, so I see more media attention on the lawsuits in states. So
yeah. And it's a different era. I mean, we were inundated. I mean, I'm in my late 60s and we had to sing the anthem to the Queen and go through all this rubbish with religion and stuff. I don't think most people want to return to that.
Or to play that game, start forcing people to read the Quran and see how quickly they're going to run out of there with their heads on fire.
Yeah.
You can play that game, but I'm just petty. So
Satan's Bible.
You know what you could read? The dictionary.
Yes.
Start there. Teach
And
them
whose picture is next
in society.
And whose picture is next to stupid Johnny? That was in a video you did.
Oh, yeah.
There's community there, so this is not going to go over without some sort of pushback. The word of warning is the Ace of Swords, so the victory is not won just because you can manipulate, is not the word I wanted, but manipulate some sort of section of the law that says I get to teach you something that I believe in instead of what you believe in or what actually happened. Even though I think if I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, what he might be trying to aim at is how our country was founded upon the religious principles of the do not kill, do not steal, do not this as a historical document. But yeah, no, that's still not, no. Anyway, But there is no victory in that. This is actually going to expand. So this is going to be even bigger.
Yeah, I got the Empress too.
That community. And there's a bunch of work that needs to be done, but this is not over with whatsoever. There is going to be something actually in place. This Page of Pentacles would represent for me some sort of document that someone may sign or someone may try to put forth at the very least. And so this is not going to go over without a fight, because mind you, if you want to teach someone about a historical document, start with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the blah, 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 and all. I had to learn the preamble word for word when I was in school. Start with those type of things.
Yeah.
Things that's come from this country, mind you.
Real history.
Yes, actual history. Now, if you want to go and teach them how this country really started, then that's a completely different class then, isn't it? Fine. Anyway, Oklahoma one more time. Oklahoma Supreme Court, for another edition of Supreme Court drama. They have, under the Oklahoma law, a charter school is a public school. As such, a charter school must... Now, okay, wait a minute. They said charter school is a public school. They have now struck down in a vote to 3-2, so it barely passed, a public funding of a religious-based charter school there in Oklahoma, because apparently according to them, they don't have any. Now, I would disagree, but fine. They say they don't have any publicly funded religious schools in Oklahoma. And the St. Isidore, a Catholic church, mind you, maybe if it was Christian, it would have been different, but a Catholic church, St. Isidore, will not receive state funding. The state establishment of a religious charter school violates Oklahoma statutes and the Oklahoma Constitution and the Establishment Clause. But what I want to know, though, is, because again, a vote of 3-2, not a super majority there. Will they eventually get funding for religious schools, public funding in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm totally convinced they don't get public.
That's what I said.
No, they certainly get tax breaks. But don't they get some coupon system or something?
That's what I thought, because that's the same thing that's in Arkansas too.
Yeah,
is you get some sort of government stipend type of thing for you to exist. But they said it's not publicly funded. So maybe this is like some sort of sequestered money for just a specific type of thing, groundskeeping, and then you can call it whatever you want.
They should call them private schools, not public schools.
Public schools.
Yeah, but the problem, and Australia's got a problem with this, that private schools actually get $6 of public money for every $1 that goes to a public school, right? Because they get all these little parcels of money for this, that, and the other, and they get revenue from the parents. They actually get more money from the government, is what I'm saying. And it's part of this mythology that private schools pay for themselves. No, they don't. So sorry, what was that question, John?
Well, they get the public funding that they wanted for these religious public schools.
Yeah. Yeah, vouchers. Yeah, that's right. They're given vouchers.
So yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, what I get is... Yeah, you go, Jen.
This may go to a higher court too. Go ahead, Lena.
Yeah, it's a yeah but no but scenario here. Like some money's being held on to maybe the government's refusing to fund some aspect of it or something. But there's going to be lots of arguments, more arguments, pointless arguments.
And let's throw the devil in there for a good measure.
Yeah, right. And then they're going to, I think this is the bad juju magician, in the sense is going to work the magic. Oh, don't. We've had 3 cards the same, which is, this movement's going to gather strength with these nutcases. I don't see this going away. So this is so insane, but it's going to end in tears, you know, for these narrow-minded, bigoted sort of, we would say, wankers. It's exhausting playing all this out, nothing at the end. In 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it won't be. Oh.
Yeah, there's something about the money that they have hung on to, like, where did it go? Where did it go?
Yeah.
So I get a no, but there's some thievery going on. Where did some of the money go that they may have gotten as a state for these schools, but didn't get passed it on to the schools? Looking at all the money, they may throw a little bit more to the religious schools, but it's going to be a big fight. People aren't happy about it, but I think it'll stay constricted. I don't think they'll get a lot more. They might get a little bit of funding somehow, but
the higher ground, at least they're trying to get there. But here's your public money. 10 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles is a lot of it. They do at some point receive a bunch, but your word of warning is the Strength card. This does not last. This is kind of like a what's the eyebrows? What's her name?
Hucka Sanders. Hucka Sanders.
Yes.
Sarah Hucka Sanders.
That lady.
Is it really like that, Johnny? Because she just looks constipated.
She's got this big giant bar on the top of her face. It just looks like she's got a unibrow every time I look at her. She doesn't technically, but she looks like it.
You know what they say about resting bitch face, right? Well, Sarah Hucka Sanders' face is like permanently like stuck like this.
We talk about Mount Rushmore. It was just carved in, and she can't help it. She can't change it if she tried. Erosion. That's how her face will change, like the pyramids of Giza type thing. The Strength card, it doesn't last. So it's kind of like her, to where when she got in, she could pass a bunch of stuff for her friends, and then somebody else can come behind and wipe it away. So
then she can go to Paris and have a $17,000 podium.
Oklahoma had a Democrat at one point in their governor, I believe. Okay, let's change gears, and we're going to go. That's not what I wanted to say. Wait a minute. Okay. Let's go here. July 18th, the RNC, or the Republican National Convention, will conclude. That'll be the last day, July 18th. Will they be united?
I'm going to send this one out because of the GP, but I'm curious to see what you guys got. Oh, and if I may say, we got Braxy back from the groomers, and I did the summer package for her, and it's coconut and pineapple, so she smells like pina coladas now. And she's got the cutest little bandana on. It's so cute.
She's edible now.
It sucks because that scent only lasts like 2 days or so before it starts dissipating. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna have fun sleeping with you tonight because she's so soft like a teddy bear, and she smells like pina coladas. I'm gonna be like,
I think they're expecting some protesters because they set up a huge boundary around where they're doing their convention. It's like, yeah, Y'all are scared. You don't want reporters too close. What are our options in fighting?
Oh, goodness. My first
You
two.
both got fighting too?
What are our options in fighting right off the bat through the whole damn thing? It's going to be funny. I hope they televise some of it because
The $1 million question is, what's their banner going to say? Because at CPAC, it's like, we're proud to be dictators or something like that. Or, you know, what's it going to say at the RNC? Is it going to be flying the Nazi flag at this point? I mean,
they did it once. Laura Ingraham in her pretend wave when she came out and did the arm like that. It's like, yeah, okay.
There's some that are going to move and lean towards of a female. There's going to be a lot of heated discussions going on. No, they will not be united. Assessing. Looking at, probably women's rights and all that. They're disgusted with loser Trump, but he's gonna probably get the nomination anyway. But there's a lot of people that are leaning towards a female, which has got to be Nikki Haley at this point. Who else would they?
That's the same thing I got in the tableau. A lot of infighting, and there's going to be discussions about how do we change the ticket because they want a deeply rooted woman there.
Because there's a felon is your nominee. A felon who is going to be sentenced right before the convention.
And may I please add, Johnny, a felon that's facing 34 counts because he's managed to delay the other felony trials. So he's got 3 more felony trials, which he will more than likely be found guilty and convicted of those 2. Just saying.
You know who's not convicted of 34 counts of anything? Joe Biden. I just want to throw that out. And me too. But at least yet. There is the 5 of Wands, the 8 of Cups. There's infighting, and there are some people who would like to abdicate, to walk away, and to throw this all. Here's the thing, too. If you're not on, and I'm not advocating for their convention to go well, but if you're not on their side, then why are you going? Just don't go. It's the pit of vipers. It's the den of lions. It's the heap of garbage. Why go at all?
The primaries are done. There's nothing you can do about it. If you don't like them, don't go. It's like, if you don't like us, don't watch.
Aspie Third Eye said RNC goes UFC.
I mean, it's almost there as it is. But there's some infighting, politics, all that. Some people are deciding to, I can't with this. Temperance would be a really great card if I read them one at a time. But the way I read them is 2 at a time. And then these are not the same thing. The Knight of Swords is chaos, the eternal crackhead, the person who just bashes out the door. Now, he means well sometimes. Thank you, Joanne, and thank you, Gigi. But there is the Temperance, which wants you to be calm, which wants you to be cool, which wants you to be collected, which is not what this is. Which means there are some people there who want to keep the peace and some people there who came to just stir shit up. And I'm here for that person, whoever it is, even if it's Donald Trump.
He flies on the wall at the convention. Oh my God. I would pay big bucks to see that, because the mud's going to be slinging.
There's a person in the room all of the days that they're there. Is it 3, I think? That is going and trying to introduce a new person to people. So there's like little moles in the camp to see who can lean and who they can pull and stuff. Because there is someone here, Ace of Cups, new person. 4 of Cups, they're trying to hand something to someone that they don't really want, but they know that they need. And there's a perspective change. They're trying to change the minds of some people, how we started as well with the 8 of Cups. Thank you, Edie. With the 8 of Cups, you're trying to make me buy more tarot decks. That's what that is. Shame on you. There's one I want. So anyway, but it's about image. So when you look at pictures or see some sort of reports, there is some sort of image that they want to put forth that we're all behind the same person. Everything is fine. There's nothing to see here. But this is how it started. There's your UFC right there. That's fighting. Boom. All day, every day.
Back and forth, back and forth.
I wonder how many of the people that are going to the RNC convention are going to look like the people that go to Mar-a-Lago. You know what I'm talking about? The older women that look like drag queens. Nothing against drag queens, they just do it very badly. But it's
yes, they both. They need to know some drag queens. They'd have done their makeup better.
I know.
They look like they put makeup in a bag, shook it up, and then stuck their face in it.
I wonder if the woman who was flashing her boobs all over the place in New York is gonna be. It's like, oh my God, these people. You know, Biden said it best. You got the morals of an alley cat. Well, so do all of his followers.
Alley cats know
Look
better.
at Braxy and her little bandana. Hi, Braxy. We hear you smell good.
The pina colada puppy, huh? Pina colada puppy.
Oh, Patrick, I do have a Amazon wish list somewhere. It's in the description or somewhere like that. You may have to copy and paste it though, because I think the link for whatever reason doesn't work. Anyhow, so I do want to go here. While we're still on the conventions and stuff. Someone asked in the community post, also for those who don't know, we do sometimes, Jen and Beckett are more consistent with it than I am. We put a community post up where you can leave questions. And one of them from there is, how will the Dems feel after their convention? So
after the DNC
be united. Yeah.
will the Dems be united?
How do they feel after their convention? Oh, you're muted, lady.
We'll let that go. It was just about MTG's toes.
Bleach blonde, red built butch body.
That's going to go into the historical archives.
It is, and that's actually true. Yeah,
I might have to dress up as her for Halloween.
Put some pillows all over here.
Well, mine's quite short and sweet in a way.
It didn't start with the 5 of Wands, so there's.
Well, I start with the star and the sun. I think it goes well.
Okay.
Even if there's a little bit of pushback, here or there, it's isolated. The pushback is isolated, so it's not major.
Yeah. And I think it's still 5 weeks. Excuse me. Still 5 weeks till their convention. If it was today or tomorrow, it'd have a completely different look,
What's more good chakra? What is it? What does that mean?
What is it?
It's great. Sport foot chakra.
That's a character on the Land of the Lost. I think during the Democratic convention, something is going to come out about the RNC again, and this woman that they would rather have instead of the clown, the erratic clown. Watch for that. Like whether there's something that happens in a court case or something's going to go on with the RNC at the same time the DNC is meeting. But DNC is fine. They're like working it out.
Okay.
Oh, is it my turn? Or did
Yeah,
Lena
sure.
go? Did you go, Lena?
No, not yet.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, mine's very short. So it starts with the Empress, which in this sense is, I think, grouping together everyone who does not want to fall off the face of the flat earth with the magaphiles. It's a big group now, and it's growing. In other words, they're going to pull themselves together, evaluating what's going on. I think a woman, this could be Kamala, or it could just be a powerful woman within the dynamics of the DNC, reads them the riot act. We've got to pull together. This is a walking away, but I don't think walking away from Biden. This is walking away from the chaos, the tension, the doubt, everything that's been going on, and they're going to go with Biden. And so I think they'll sort of know that before they go in. But no real conflict cards and stuff. I'm surprised, really.
I would be mindful of some sort of a plant or reporters that are trying to gain popularity via speculation that it's quite harmful to the country. There's your report about the executive who's there was like the Andrea Mitchells and the Katie Turs, and as we found out from Michael Cohen, who's that lady that's always on CNN? That was their go-to person to write pro-Trump articles. Was it Maggie Haberman? Was that her name?
No, she's Washington Post. She's another ball game.
There was some lady at New York Times or somewhere where it was their go-to reporter that would spin positive stories on Trump and then spin negative stories on Biden or Hillary or whatever. Same issue. Something is written here about the executive that brings uncertainty. So fear-mongering, speculation. And like I said the other night on the GT, the media is not taking any responsibility on how they got us the mess that is Trump. It wasn't completely them, but they helped a crap ton. And this whole thing for speculation and ratings and views, you're not helping the problem right now. You're putting a bunch of fear into people and you're going to sway because of your narrative. So just shut up. So that's what I'm mostly getting. That's going to be some bad press, perhaps. That's going to question the executive. They're not certain about it, but
that would make sense. Yeah,
because he ran for president, the Trump, with no campaign staff because he didn't need any. Because everything he said made the news, so he didn't need a campaign staff. But as far as the DNC, I get Ace of Wands and the High Priestess. There is an action around maybe knowledge, things of that nature. There is someone lurking in the shadow, however. So you might want to, and this is a woman of some sort, so you might want to keep track of that. And it's not one, it's at least two here, or maybe several with the Seven of Cups too. But they're there to sow confusion. They're trying to create a narrative around maybe there's a different option, maybe there's a better option, maybe there's a something with the Nine of Cups, to where they want people to, you don't have to, it's reasonable doubt. You don't have to believe it fully. I just want you to waver. And so there is someone there to do such a thing. However, this security is stuck. There is burdens and can't move, won't move in security. Some people are not going to waver whatsoever. Mind you, and I think, as I said before, what are your options?
That's the thing, Johnny. They like to. Oh, then he needs to go. He needs to go. Who are you offering up? Who? Because
Why didn't they win in the primaries?
Kamala Harris isn't going to get the independents. Neither is what's his face over here, Gavin Newsom. So who are you? Who are you just going to draw out of thin air? Like,
and I think also it's a wake-up call for the Dems big time. This was very scary. You're right. The immediate aftermath was a debate of going gulp. What the? Let's face it. So I think it smartened them up, because the message or the moral of all this and getting Biden in November, he then does have to move sideways, I think, for the best interest of the nation. And there does need to be a reshuffle. And the Dems have talent in that second tier that they won't let off the leash, right? So they need to divide them up. Can I have a little digression here for a minute for my popularity? So someone like AOC, who's very smart, very directed, you don't put her in the Bible Belt. No, you give her New York, you give her Miami, you have Katie Porter for the suburban sort of push. You've got Pete Buttigieg, who can go Bible verse for Bible verse right through the belt and just calmly talk to people, use him there. You've got Eric Swalwell, looks like a Kennedy, would get the suburban mum vote. He's got young kids. Such talent. But they need to treat America like the 50 little countries it is and get them all speaking now, so people get used to and think, oh, Joe's the head of a really strong team. I'm in Wisconsin, but that means I've got so-and-so. I'm in Michigan, I've got Gretchen Whitmer. Give people confidence in the Dems at that next level, so you're not just thinking, am I voting for an old man or not? No, you're voting for the future.
To put his roof on the pillars that people can stand under. It's,
Exactly.
You still have Bernie Sanders who came out and defended you. You still have Elizabeth Warren who did, you have the people that the progressives like. You have the people the middle of the roads like. You have the people that you have these people. Put them in place.
And everybody loves Jamie Raskin except the Republicans, because he's always smacking down on those people.
And he's funny.
With fact, and he's funny.
He's smart and funny. Exactly. So you only see them on MSNBC or something. They need to be sound bites everywhere. But
What's your question, man?
Well, at the debate after it was over, Jill, CNN cut away, but we heard later Jill joined Joe on the stage, and then they went to a rally in North Carolina together, or a watch party together, and spoke. Melania was nowhere to be seen. And Jill, because she's out of school now, she's campaigning for Joe this summer. She'll be at the RNC, or the DNC. When they're nominated and they win the nomination, the family usually joins them on the stage. Is Melania going to go to the RNC convention?
I heard she doesn't want to be first lady at all.
Well, she's shown that by going nowhere on all these campaigns.
And I think everyone should stop pretending that the marriage is anything but over.
It's transactional, like everything Trump does. It's like, the fact she wasn't there on debate night. Hello.
But also, transactional is one thing. But then you've got to pay your bills if you want the next transaction to work. Right?
And I think you can afford to fly her up. Or she's afraid to get on that Trump plane that's not kept up very well. Will she be at the RNC convention when he's nominated?
She wasn't there when he got sentenced, was she?
No.
She hasn't gotten any court cases. She's been nowhere with him.
Well, you don't support your hubby with the porn star case, do you? I mean, I don't know why people thought she'd be there for that one.
All the other Republicans stand by your man, woman. They go and they and they go and they stand side by side and act like he did nothing wrong. And everything's okay.
Well, I don't know why I got such big cards, because I think this is just a non-question in many. But big cards. I get the Fool. That could be anybody in this story. You know, the Victory riding in some woman who looks a bit like Lara Trump. He could drag out the daughter-in-laws for this. Judgment. He should be judged by that sort of moral majority, and if for a third failed marriage or anything, but they won't, because they're just hypocrites united, you know, HU headquarters, and no one will know where she is.
We're gonna start playing, you know, instead of where's Carmen Sandiego, where's Melania Trump?
Yeah. No, she won't be there, and he's gonna lie about where she is. She's on like some trip or something.
Yeah.
She is out of there. She is out of there, and I always get this. She may be having a romance with someone else, talking to them. Like, look at my idiot husband on the stage. He's going for it. Everybody's going to wonder why she's not with him, and at the time that he gets offered the job. No, she is not.
She's off somewhere else. The Tower, the Heart, and the Storks. No, she's off somewhere else. He's isolated, but he brings two people in that are a pair. So I don't know if that would be like an Eric and Lara, or Junior and Gargoyle, or who, but there's a pair that are there. That
would make sense.
Yeah, but it's looking like.
Or two porn stars.
It's a man and a woman. So
yeah, it'll be one of the boys and the partner.
Yeah, but I don't. She's off somewhere. She's isolated somewhere else. She wants her distance. Wants nothing to do with that. But we'll see.
Six of Swords. She's off somewhere else. She may make an appearance though, because the Six of Swords is moving somewhere else. So if she's there, she's there for a good 8-10 seconds, and then boom. So,
she will not show up without that prenup being adjusted, and she gets paid for her appearance. Let me just make that clear. Like,
so speaking of marriages, I want to be a teensy bit petty here. Matt Schlapp, who was a former White House political director, it said. He was a politician, barely. Who was accused of sexually groping. I guess that's redundant. He was groping his assistant or one of his assistants or something like that, a man.
He pulled a Bobert on a man.
Uninvited. And they weren't watching Beetlejuice at the time. And this man accused him, and he denied initially. And then they have a lawsuit. That lawsuit is now dropped because there's a settlement of $480,000 or so that was paid to the accuser.
So money payment,
groping pays better for the gropee than it used to in my day.
Because if you're innocent, you always pay them off.
And I understand, nuisance lawsuits, they cost a lot of money and legal fees, and they can stretch on and go on forever and ever and ever. And so sometimes you just want to pay to get them done. That way you can quit fooling with it. But for me, this is just for me. If you accuse me of something and I didn't do it, then no, I'm not giving you money for it. Like, I didn't do anything. So what am I paying you for? I understand legal fees go on forever and ever and ever, but my reputation is going to be priceless at this point. $480,000 is not a drop in the bucket. First of all, where do you get that kind of money? But second of all, $480,000 and you didn't do anything?
And here's the thing too, Johnny, I don't know if it varies from state, but like if you falsely accuse somebody of something and you take them to court and it's found out that you falsely accused them of somebody, don't you take on that person's legal fees and then
You can.
Yeah, I mean, so what is the incentive of just paying it? You can't say it's because, oh, I don't want to pay the legal fees, because if you didn't do it, you take them to court, you find out they didn't do it. Now they got to pay your legal fees on top of whatever fines. So what's the incentive? Like Johnny said, if you didn't do it, why the hell are you paying? You know?
And his wife was a stand by your man type of person. Mercedes Schlapp is her name. Who she was also accused of being kind of Hillary-esque, if you will, where she attacked the victim, is what they said. And so my question is their marriage safe and sound right now that this is all over with?
They had somebody that accused him of rape also.
Yes.
A man or a woman?
Female.
Also, okay.
Because mind you, he said there was reports that he was drinking and all that type of stuff. But here's the thing: the drunk mind speaks the sober heart type of thing. You didn't grope this man because you wanted to see what the material of his genes were. There is a part of you that likes men, and you're married to a woman. So how is their marriage? Is it okay now that all of this is out in the open and they were able to maybe move past it or something like that?
He runs CPAC, and she was bringing something up to school boards. And then it came out that they were having extramarital affairs and threesomes and everything else. It's like, yeah, get out of the school board's business.
Yeah, it's always these guys.
Do as I say, not as I do. I'm out here partying my ass off, but I want your kids to be raised a certain way.
Repressed until they're old enough to join our group.
Yeah. When they're really screwed up mentally, then we'll invite them to our 3-ways.
Well, I think she's the power behind the throne here with this marriage. She'll decide whether it's going ahead or it's over. Now the gossip's out, and there's some camera footage. I think it's, this is the birds going off, like their little fantasy world of the car keys in the fishbowl is now public knowledge. I don't think this is the first person they paid off or the last. Right. Now, I think they're fighting as we speak. I don't think this is emotional. You said you'd stop and you didn't. I think it was all up front. I really do. With these other cards, I think they knew exactly what each other was doing. That's not the issue. They don't have a moral issue within the family. What she doesn't like now is the fact it's public and she doesn't look good. So I would say the marriage is over, not on any moral grounds, but like, you blew it. I told you, do it like this, not like that. I told you to delete those messages. It's like you didn't keep up your part of the bargain. No.
I think they're like-minded. Now, like-minded doesn't mean in a positive way. I think they're two peas in a pod.
Yeah.
That they're both just nasty, horrible people. They heal with money. They buy their way out of things. They heal with money. There's going to be something new coming up in the courts. That's going to be a rough patch. This is going to grow. There's going to be more payouts. Another woman that they're going to be paying out. There's another unwanted sexual advance that's going to come up too. There is a separation and bad news in the marriage, and there's just going to be a continual payoff to keep people out of their business.
Yeah. This is tip of the iceberg.
They could be in their 90s in wheelchairs and they'd probably still be groping people.
And here's the thing, dude. I'm not here to kink shame anybody.
Huh?
You do what you want to do. Whatever you want. I don't care. But don't punch down on people for the same damn thing you're doing behind closed doors thinking nobody's going to find out. That's just gross. I get that the marriage has some very painful little dirty secrets. Also, they like to portray this marriage as a holy Bible sort of marriage, the book and the cross.
Blessed by God.
Yeah, this is a very holy marriage, holy matrimony, but it's a lot of painful secrets there. The marriage itself is in big trouble. I would not be surprised if they don't even sleep in the same bed, in the same room, in the same
I think they're way beyond all that.
But they keep it up for appearances. That's it. That's all. Because getting at it would be too much of a headache with these two.
And they remind me of Clarence and Ginny Thomas.
Yeah.
They're another couple of bent bunnies.
Uh-huh.
A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot. I think they both do this. They may have completely different circles. These are people with the same last name who may live in the same house, but that's kind of
that's right.
But they are burdened, or they're not going anywhere. She's not going. Well, just to Lena's point, I think she is going to say whether it's over or not, and it's not over. The Five of Wands, and that's probably why he has such ambitions on acting out, is because, you, as they say, you cut the balls off in the castle type of thing. The man loses his power. And so he goes out and he pushes himself upon other people. Thank you, lucky girl. And there is some payment if you investigate. I don't think this is going to be anything criminal or anything like that, but it would be interesting as far as like a headline or a news story. But there are some more payouts if you will investigate. There's where your journalism could come in hand. Lauren Boebert won her primary.
How the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
Because she was like number 5 in her district. That's why she moved, and then she lost there, and then somehow she lost in the district. Like, how? I'm sorry, the math ain't mathin'. Like,
I haven't been shocked by much news for the last 5 years, and I actually found that shocking.
You know what happened though? She probably sat there and prayed and went like,
oh.
triangle that she does because she doesn't know how.
Well, she might have been on her knees. Let's leave it there.
She was wiping evidence. That's what that was.
There was a spot on the floor she was trying to clean up.
She's used to that. So Lauren Boebert won her primary. Can she beat the Democrats then? Because apparently they like her.
Good to know.
It's a very Republican district.
And also, Joe says only 30% voted.
I'm wondering if this is one of those other strategies that the Dems have been employing, where they'll vote for the weak candidate so that when the ticket comes up.
Yeah, sure.
But to that point, though, if only 30% of the eligible voters voted, that tells you right there this district cares not about local election. They probably either only pay attention to the national one or they don't vote at all. That was a very big thing, too. And when I was in Oklahoma, is you have 3 million people in the state and maybe 90 of them will vote or something like that. So it's not a big turnout there.
Well, if you saw the video where the moderator moderating the debate among 5 people, it was hysterical because he was calling them all their shit. They were all dirty. Like none of them were decent people.
Yeah. So is the question?
Well, can she beat the Democrat? What are her chances? However you want to word it. Will she win?
Oh, yuck. Probably.
Yeah.
Big cards. What's wrong with the world? Okay. The world. So, when it comes to this, I think because she has name recognition in a lot of places, a lot of people are going to be surprised. She has momentum with the Chariot. She gets the Star card. and she gets the Queen of Pentacles. Huh.
Mhm.
I mean, that looks like a yes if I was reading on a normal mortal. So
Mhm.
someone please, anyone have different cards?
Not me.
Assessing the devils, she was the better choice of the 5 devils they had in the primary. So it's people that are going to support whatever Republican candidate is there.
Yeah, that's
But
the
I
thing.
get a lot of people will lay out of the main election also stay home, like not go forward. So there's a slim chance that she could lose and get blocked by the Democrat, because some people may just say, I'm not voting. They're all horrible.
Losing,
Oh, bless.
taken away, public office.
Oh, I'm
It's a
thrilled.
surprise too, because it's a Republican district.
Oh,
Taken away, public office. Unless this means that there's some shenanigans and it's stolen, but this is like something's taken away and then there's public office.
I love that.
Votes insecure. So I think there is some perspective that needs changing. So if some perspective can be changed, but the perspective is involvement. Like you can't just sit there with your arms folded and think that this is going to go away. So if some involvement happens, then your perspective can be changed. But if not, then she is secured. She's been secured already. So I guess she'll be secured. 6 of Pentacles votes, 9 of Pentacles to security. Lord.
I'm wondering if that mice in my reading meant that there was going to be some shenanigans going on, because that's the thief card, you know.
And we have to keep in mind too that somebody likes her. We don't, but somebody does.
He's getting dates somehow.
You know that her family doesn't, her ex-husband doesn't. I mean, her kid was sitting there going to his own criminal trial while she's in New York playing dress up for Donald Trump.
For Donald Trump. Well, I mean, she's not a very good mom.
Have you guys ever seen Trey Crowder's video on Lauren Boebert? It's gold. It's hilarious. And basically, the line I remember from it, is this a member of Congress or is this my cousin Michaela? You know, like, this is so...
She doesn't carry herself as
no.
a member of the highest governing body there is.
No. So maybe she has the cousin Michaela factor, that they all have a sister-in-law or a cousin who, you know, is armed to the teeth and, you know, rushes off with your husband when you're going to get another drink.
Well, speaking of the unwanted child, Martin Shkreli, who was the farmer bro who went to prison for marking up the anti-parasitic drug 1,000%. And he has now made a statement that Trump coin was created with him and Barron. They collaborated to make a cryptocurrency.
Because you collaborate with an 18-year-old. It came out a while back, so he would have been 17 when it was created.
My question is he saying this for relevancy, or is any of that actually true?
Is he insane? Let's see. I collaborated with Barron while I was in jail.
Barron Trump, Martin Shkreli, match made in make believe.
Yeah, he's the one that jacked up the price of the EpiPen, isn't he?
So the question is, did it happen at all? Is there a connection at all?
Yes. Or is he making this up? Because he
Right.
wants to be back in the media, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't seen Trump deny it yet.
Well, he wouldn't want Barron to get a headline, you know.
Well, is he trying to start boosting Barron up a little bit? But Melania wouldn't tolerate that. Yeah.
Well, I think at some point they're going to drag that boy into this eventually, just like all the other ones.
And Melania's
questions too.
Melania's hands ain't clean either.
That's right. Her and her necklaces and stuff.
And she's just as dirty as Donald Trump and the rest of them.
Oh, totally. I don't know why anyone's got any sympathy for that woman.
Right on the bottom, devil.
Usually,
and I get a false night.
Did this guy go to prison or jail or something for a while?
He did, yes.
Is he in there now? As we
he's
say?
out now.
I get long suffering and burden and pain, but yeah, he is, because I asked, is he telling the truth? And it ends with the son. Yeah, I get it. I get a yes.
I get a yes too, big time. Like thinking that he would appeal to America, being behind that. That's a yes card.
Yeah, well, it's branding genius if you're into shallow, meaningless products, and and I got a yes with the wedding card, but it was sort of done in the dead of night. It might have been too that possibly they were both underage at that point, although I don't think there's a law against being a millionaire when you're 15 or something, but there's something not quite right there. There's legal confusion now, and if he doesn't shut up, this guy, he's got to be careful, because I think Barron maybe have some things on him because all the attention went that way, which this guy thought was a good idea. But no, everything will be combed through that Barron looks at or touches. So he's actually putting himself more at risk, if that makes sense, by saying it.
Oh, thank you, Mary. She's reminding me, Manchin's daughter jacked up the EpiPen prices. Shrickley or Shrick.
His was anti-parasitic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
AIDS drugs.
Yeah, his wife, her mother, ran the school boards or something, was the big governor of school boards, who made a law that every school had to ditch their old EpiPens and buy the new EpiPens that the daughter sold. It's just an oligarchy. Let's just admit it and go home,
Everything's a grift.
There is, you can say Barron Trump's name can be involved, but is Barron Trump sitting at the table during the business meeting? No, I don't get a child here, but there's two grown men here. And so Barron could have been used as more of a pawn, and these two were more so working on details of something.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Donald Trump is not that hard to convince when it comes to money. So he will use anybody and sell anybody. So there's that. Lord Jesus. Okay. Well, speaking of money and corruption, what is the future of Infowars? Yes. Apparently, this sack of absolute feces is okay. I'll be neutral. Alex Jones is trying to file for bankruptcy, but he has to liquidate a bunch of stuff. The parent company of Infowars is being sold to the trustee, and the trustee is saying that the Infowars will be winding down. Now,
meanwhile, he's stashing money in LLCs all over the place.
What that could truly mean is we're just going to change the name and then pick up something somewhere else. But what is the future of Infowars right now? Current energy right now. The future.
Yeah. And I think his ex-wife will be watching this unfold, because although she chose to marry this pig of a man, she saw the light at some point. So I think they're divorcing. So she'd be having a look.
I don't understand. Like him and Bannon, like their voice alone would make me want to wear a chastity belt. Like,
yeah, look, absolutely.
I don't understand.
Info. I mean, somehow we've seen all this stuff go on for years and years, and isn't this still the worst? On some level, it is. Thank
you, Orchid.
It's going to be under a new partnership under a different name.
Yeah,
they're going to like legally change the name of it. It's still there. Like they try to make it look like they're ending it. It's just shifting into something else.
Yeah,
let's cover it up that it's still Infowars and still Alex Jones.
Someone said to me recently he's only 50. Is that true?
He's 50.
Someone let us know. How old is Alex Jones? Not that I care, but I remember being shocked if he's only 50.
And this is a perfect example what hatred
does to you.
Yes.
No, seriously. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I got that. They're arguing at the moment what to do with it. This isn't the first nasty company that gets disbanded and reinvented. It's just, this is different points. You know, they'd have different lawyers saying, do it this way, do it that way. But they are going to do it because they've got to go out and spread their vengeance and their poison. And they want the money. And he'll come on as a victim too. Look what was done for me, and I'm now a mere consultant or something, you know, whatever. And he will still have control of a lot as the emperor on his stone throne. Because it's like Bannon, they're talking to people who they've ripped off. Like people are supporting Bannon for stealing their money. And you just go, there's no more to be done, really.
Thank you, Miss Lady.
You know, it's like going up to your housebreaker and say, you didn't take enough, love. I'm just going to leave the other plasma you missed in the back room. I'll drop it at your place.
I get that there's several suits, arguments, but he's still... whatever operation he's doing, it's not on a super grand scale, but he does have some success. Not at the level that it was before, but it's still successful. I don't get any money cards here saying that it's shut down. I don't get the coffin.
No.
Nothing. It's still an online operation.
Yeah.
So, and he's got several channels where he can do this online that brings him success. I only pulled a line of 5, so I don't know if he can get hosted on, wouldn't that be funny, RT or some Russian or something network or whatever. I don't know, but
Tucker.
Yeah, that's what they did. Tucker with an F. Thank you, Lena. O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, Porky Pig, all them went and they just rebranded
or something. Yeah, it's like it's showing that there's several lawsuits, but he's still successful on a smaller scale. But he goes in a different direction. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's still
totally
still there, being the minds of idiots. You know,
they've got people trying to track down everywhere money's moving so they can get it for the Sandy Hook parents,
as they should. As they should, and potential earnings.
Yes. Thank you, Roberta.
And his what do you call it, supplements or whatever it is he sells.
Well, he needs some more supplements.
You can go to the dollar store and buy the same crap for less than whatever he's selling it for.
And he is 50. Can you believe it? He's born in 1974.
Here's okay.
Anyone else surprised? I don't know why.
I'm not the prettiest person out there. I could stand to lose a little bit of weight, but there's something wrong when a man is pushing you testosterone pills to get an alpha male body, and he's got a beer gut that looks like he's freaking 12 months.
20 chins later.
Like this because he smokes cigarettes a day.
My mate Alex said it was great.
I'm not taking nothing.
A working brain between them.
when this guy probably hasn't seen his own thing in the last 15 years because it's buried under a freaking beer gut the size of Texas. I mean, come on.
Him and Stewie, one-eyed Stewie Rhodes.
He still takes the prize. Gun safety.
Yeah.
Like, how do you shoot your own eye out teaching a class, man? Like, I don't.
I think it should be a meme.
No, this is the universe saying you're doing it wrong, dude.
And where does he end up? In jail.
And didn't he get 20 years or something? He got a real sentence.
All his little tunnels he dug in a rented house wasn't even his house.
The sedition conspiracy charge, so he went to jail, prison.
Yeah, and that might all be up in the air now, thanks to the totally filthy and corrupt Supreme Court.
Oh yeah, gotta love that.
Well, he got charged with something different than the other group of idiots did.
Yeah,
so maybe he'll stay.
I think the other group of idiots was obstructing a legal procedure or an official proceeding, and he actually got charged with insurrection and sedition. Yeah, so
I get the Page of Cups. So a surprise scheme, Council Freeze. So there is some sort of scheme to remap something or go back to the drawing board with the Two of Wands, and there is collaboration. So it's all still within the same network, same family, same all that. It will continue for Wands. So it may just be called Infowars LLC or something like that. So they'll just change it and do something different with it. But fine. You need to keep a job. That way you can keep them payments up. Buddy.
Yeah, that's the way.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they've sewn up those little holes around the edges there.
So I want to look at, since we'll probably look at it 1,000 times between here and there anyway, but we'll go. Oh, I have an announcement too. I wrote this down and I was supposed to say it at the beginning of the thing. To thank you, Mara, and thank you, Judy.
Wow.
To Nikki and her grandchildren. Hi, Leah, and hi, Luke. Hi, Luke. Hi, Luke, and hi, Leah. Okay, I was supposed to say that at the beginning. I forgot. Okay. What I want to know is, what is the issue that is hurting Trump the most, and we'll do Biden after that. So right now, campaign-wise, running for president, what is the issue that is hurting Donald Trump the most?
I just heard.
Yeah, it's one of those questions. Of course, it's going to bring out some doozies.
Life.
I've got the full on the bottom, and I heard he's stupid.
Yeah.
He just does the same crap over and over again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I just got 3 cards. He always comes up for me as the Emperor still after all these years. These cards are so loyal. You know, here he is on his stone throne, not giving a flying toss what anyone else thinks. But the issue is stealing women's rights. So I think it's that. There's lots of other things he steals, but then up came the Queen. So I thought, you know what? Get those pussy hats out and about, please.
Yeah. Obscuring the truth and women's, the work that he did to affect women's rights in America. And bragging about it, talking about it, and, like, oh, look at me, I did this. Judgments on him.
I get the stars, the sun, the lilies, the crossroads, and the tower. And I asked, what is Trump's biggest issue with voters? The Supreme Court and their rulings. A very conservative decision in the courts, but it's partisan. It's partisan. And here with the sun, the most recent decision in regards to energy.
Chevron.
Energy. Chevron, and then there's other things that are very vast and widespread, but it comes down to his successful appointment in the Supreme Court that's just mucking everything up. So, and it's
because I think
partisan, very partisan court. These are just Republicans in robes, Republican operatives in robes at this point, because they're not even reading the law. They're just like, well, it's Tuesday, let's change it. So that's his biggest issue with voters is his appointed justices that are just mucking it all up. So
I get two answers. One of them is above and one is below. So the one that's below, Queen of Cups, Empress, women's issues. This is, now mind you, keep in mind, more women on earth right now currently than men. Biggest voting bloc outside of youth is women. They shape the politics in a lot of places, especially when they get involved. And a really good way, bad way to get them involved is to attack them, Republican GOP. And so women's issues here are not just issues, but healthcare issues and fertility issues with the Empress and all the other ones. And mind you, voting issues and all of the things that you don't want women to do. Too bad, so sad. But that's the below. Above, everything. All of this in his 70 whatever years, all of it. It's just time for this. Mind you, this is not punishment. This is his own doing. You build your own tower. It falls because of you. And so you had the chance. There's always an out. I always say this, God gives you an out. Humble thyself in private, or God will do it in public. And so all you have right now is you got to endure it. It is what it is. This is all that's left. It's going to come crumbling down because
to me, it comes down to two things: the courts, whether it's the Supreme Court or the courts because he's in court.
Yes.
He's got a court issue.
And here's the thing: to call Donald Trump a mobster is an actual insult to mobsters. He's disgusting. He is like the bottom feeding parasite that like breaks down animal feces. He's worse than those little bugs that move the poop. What is it? The dung beetles? He's worse than that. He made
such stupid clowny faces when Biden was talking. It was like, oh my God, you're such a child.
Jen, when Biden, what was it that Biden said? Not when he called him a convicted felon. There was something else that he said.
The morals of an alley cat.
No, he said something else. And it wasn't, he called him a convicted felon or something else. No, it was when he said you have 40 previous people from your administration that will not endorse you. He's all.
He's doing that smart and silly faces. And he's a child.
So let's do Biden and see what issue is affecting him the most.
Oh God. Okay.
In the after show, I have a question for you in the after show.
Okay.
Just remind me.
Well, good luck on that one too.
I can go if you like, John.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think not surprisingly, people are worried about his age, represented here in the with the hermit, and with that, they're genuinely worried that he might die in office. For some people, that might represent an okay scenario that everyone's prepared for, but this is fears. And this came as well, which is young people find it hard to identify. So there's no mysteries there, but it's about his age and health and vulnerability. So no revelations.
I'm getting attention for his accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's an imbalance of what people are focusing on, and the fighting that he's tried to heal, but also his wisdom that he went within and creating jobs and assessing everything, and it's his accomplishments, what he has managed, what he has worked on, the growth that he's had in our country. People just aren't aware of everything he's done. They don't pay attention.
Yeah, and he's done it with an aggressive Congress.
Yeah,
and he's being too humble about it, because for the last 4 years, well, it's still ongoing. You got a freaking convicted felon over there that's lying to you about how many people he killed during COVID because he said it happened under Biden. It's like, last time I checked, homeboy, you were president during 2020, not Joe Biden. And he sat there in the debate and tried to blame the deaths of COVID on Biden when it was him that was living in the White House. Like,
I mean, the independents just don't pay attention to the news of any sort. They're uneducated as far as what Biden has done. They don't get it.
What they need is whitehouse.gov front page. This is what he's done, and here's the time. Because I don't have a complete list either, because it's not something I follow. Because I will say this too, and this happened during the Obama years, which is why Trump was such a shock. We get comfortable, complacent, because things are going easier than they were before.
Yeah.
George Bush shook the world in a way that Obama was like a savior. He came in, he normalized government again, he normalized relations overseas again, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. So we got comfortable, we got complacent. Donald Trump was a necessary evil. We all know that part, at least. And he came in and he made us uncomfortable again. And then Joe Biden comes along, and then they start to wipe up and clean everything that went wrong before. And so we get kind of complacent, comfortable, and because things are going easy again, or easier.
I think it's also families. They see they're paying more for eggs and milk. They see that impact on their grocery bills. They do not understand how strong our economy is when other countries are still kind of in a semi-recession after COVID. That we're kind of the envy of the world, the fact that we pulled out of it stronger. All they see is I'm paying more for this cup of coffee today.
Which is true. And that's corporate greed.
Thank you. I was just about to say
price gouging. I was just talking to Johnny about this before the pandemic a couple of years ago. Not even after the pandemic. I used to get the rolls of paper towels at Target, 6 for like $12. You now pay $12 for 4.
Yes, exactly. And Biden at some point did mention 2 words together, corporate greed, but it got sort of lost in the thing. And the point is exactly that. And that should be his response when he's asked that every time between now and the end of the year.
Because they had record profits.
People actually understand those terms if it's not crowded out with clause B and 45.7.
Lena, they just caught that one executive trying to get cozy with OPEC to stop production so that they can raise the prices. That's corporate greed. There's nothing wrong with the supply chain. They're just price gouging you because they can.
Exactly.
But
you have to be able to talk in sound bites.
Yeah.
It's not a university lecturer in political economy. No, they've got to get out of that mode. So when Trump says, I left the biggest, best economy ever, he needs to turn around and say he left $1 trillion debt, fool. Send it. Walk away. Leave it hanging.
And Biden mentions shrinkflation and price gouging and all that when he has the opportunity in the press. But they need other Democrats to reinforce that loudly, get the message out there.
Perfect
Simple
for that. And what's Katie? What's her face?
Katie Porter.
Those two right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me say this too, because we often say Democrats should. Democrats do. We just need more. That's all.
Yep.
Eric Swalwell is the only one I actually follow on Twitter. I like everything he does.
Look, he's my man.
We just need more of him. But
they need to clone him.
Yes, strength and the 10 of Wands. That's his issue is physical strength and health, basically. Which I will say is a good thing, because you don't have a scandal that you can push on him. You don't even have, remember the 24/7 Gaza this, Gaza that stuff. So it's like health. That's what they're concerned about now. Because why? Because it's in the news 24 hours a day right now.
But they won't sit there and show you Joe Biden riding his freaking bicycle at 85 years old or however the hell old he is.
Accomplishments, just like Jen said, that's what needs to be highlighted.
The fat-ass orange guy that poops his diapers riding around in a golf cart like he just won a freaking Olympic medal. I mean, come on, get out of here. You know. So
thank you to Joanne. Thank you to Edie. Thank you to Lucky Girl and Orchid and Miss Lady Roberta, Greta, Mara, Judy, and Queenie. Thank you very much. And if I missed anyone, apologies. Next week, we will be on Jen Lynn Tarot's channel. Also, if you want information about the upcoming seminar in just 2 months,
I can't believe it.
If you want information on that, you go to jenlyntarot.com.
The seminars rocked, Jen.
It was awesome.
We had a blast. We just had a blast. It was like people that are like, I felt like they were going home and kind of processing everything they were learning. Almost a little bit overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to come back, come back. If you want a reading, jenlyntarot.com, Lena Rodriguez at Tarot Down Under, and House of Lenormand Readings with an S plural at gmail.com. And we will see y'all next week.